Well, hello YouTube, how's it going? It is now February, and so I have a few new DVDs that I have to tell you about. One of these I saw on Big Al 1982. He said this was his top movie for 2011, so I thought that I would pick that up, and I think that it was pretty good. I don't know if I would say that it was one of my top 10 for 2011, sorry, but it is pretty good, and that is Source Code. It has a really cool story, and it ends up with ends up resolving itself in a cool way. Um, I did enjoy that movie. And when I was picking that up, I figured that I would get this movie, Moon. Moon, I really enjoyed, and it's by the same director as Source Code. Um, but this movie is really good. I think that I like this a little better than Source Code, a lot more than Source Code. And I would really recommend watching this movie if you haven't seen it. Um, Sam Rockwell is in it, and is pretty much the only person in it in a similar way to Castaway or something with Tom Hanks, but on the moon. And this one has a really good um, story, and just everything about it is really good. I would really, really highly recommend this movie. Which brings me to this next movie, which I cannot more highly recommend. This movie is so good for so many reasons. Monsters. It's an independent movie, a sci-fi movie that takes place with the background that sort of like this alien organism has appeared somewhere in Central America or the south of the United States and has started to take over, basically, and they've had to quarantine this whole area of the continent. And um, these two people have to make their way from South America back to the United States through the quarantine zone in an allegory for um, the sort of immigration problems that people go through as they try to get into America. But the really cool thing about it is that it's set in this huge science fiction background, but that's not really what the movie is about. The movie is really about the story of these two people's journey, and it just happens to be taking place in this universe that has been created by this whole thing. Um, it's really cool, and the whole thing was made pretty much by like one or two people. Like this one guy, Gareth Edwards, um, like directed it and wrote it and shot it, and um, like just check this out. This is the kind of movie where you have to check it out and you have to buy it just so you can support this filmmaker because it's so cool. Um, really, I would really check it out. Apparently, he's making another movie that is not a sequel to this, but it's set in the same sort of like universe where this thing's happening. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I hope that turns out really well. Um, so yeah, definitely check this out, Monsters. And the last thing that I got, and I sort of went back and forth about whether or not I was actually going to buy this because, for so many different reasons, and that is the Star Wars Complete Saga on Blu-ray. Now, there's so many reasons why I didn't want to buy this. And there's a few reasons why I did want to buy this, but I ended up getting it just because I didn't ever have copies of the new Star Wars movies, which there was a reason I didn't have copies of those, and that's because they're, not the best movies compared to the original movies. But I figured if I was gonna have them, I'd rather just have it in this nice Blu-ray box set and have all the Star Wars on Blu-ray. But then again, there's other reasons why I also didn't want to have it, and that's because I do know that they've gone and redone a lot of the things again in the original Star Wars movies, which, was cool when they did it in like 1996, I suppose, when they like redid the special effects, and I think that they've redone them again, and they've changed some sounds, and they've changed some other plot lines, editing to like change the movies. But like I said, I just wanted to get it on Blu-ray, so I got it, and I have to say that it's a really nice box. Each movie is sort of like in this book here, with like this really nice artwork, and it's a really nice presentation. And the original Star Wars movies are fun. I do enjoy those. But luckily enough, I do have the original Star Wars movies in their unedited, as released form in 1977, um, on DVD. And I know they're not going to release that on Blu-ray, and that's perfectly fine with me. Like, it's not apparent. I know it's not a good transfer. When they transferred it onto there, they kept it at the original. But like that was how I always watched it before, on DVD or on VHS or on TV. The old school ones. And so I'm perfectly happy to have those. At least I have them. At least I have the ability to watch them as they were originally released, the way that I remember them. And I know that was a limited edition DVD, so like you can't really get that anymore. So I'm happy to have that. But I'm also happy to have it on Blu-ray because it'll be nice to watch it. And I guess next week sometime I'm gonna start. I'll watch them all the way through episode 1, 2, 3. It'll be a chore, but then I'll get to the 4 and 5s, and that'll be good, and then 6. And some things you just gotta have in the collection. Anyways, see you next time. Maybe I'll have some more for February, but otherwise I'll get back to you in March. Bye bye.